Good morning, sir.
Okay, one of you please confirm if my voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So in yesterday's class, we started discussing frequency response of amplifier. Okay, right. So this is the shape of frequency response of amplifier. Any amplifier, okay, right? It could be single stage, it could be multi-stage, okay. Under multi-stage, it could be RC coupled amplifier, that is two-stage RC coupled amplifier. Take any amplifier, okay. The general shape of frequency response means if you gradually vary frequency, okay, if you gradually vary frequency, gain increases, remains constant, decreases. We have seen this, okay, right? Earlier in previous classes, right, which region did we consider? Previous classes, which not yesterday's, not the last class, before that, if region is not mentioned, if in the amplifier circuit, okay, analysis, they have asked you to analyze the amplifier circuit, but they did not say whether it is low frequency or mid frequency or high frequency. They did not tell. Then in such a situation, by default, which region you will consider? Anybody please answer? Yes, important question, because you could get a very big question, and in the question they will say analyze the amplifier. Then you should know, isn't it, whether you should analyze in low frequency, mid frequency, or high frequency. You should know, isn't it? If a problem is given, nothing is mentioned, which frequency will you analyze? Anybody answer? Okay, by default it is mid frequency. Okay, right? So far whatever analysis we did, two-stage RC coupled amplifier, okay, CECB amplifier, CECC amplifier, whatever the earlier amplifiers we did, other than the last class, we did it for mid frequency region. Okay, we did it for mid frequency region, right? So if nothing is mentioned, simply problem is given and they will ask you to analyze gain, input resistance, output resistance, and okay, which region will you consider? Answer, one of you please answer. Answer. We have seen problem, isn't it? Last class we have seen problem. Okay, gain was in the other than, I mean, earlier class. Okay, earlier class we have seen problem, isn't it? Okay, we have seen this problem, two-stage RC coupled amplifier, right? Voltage gain AVS was a constant. Is it changing with frequency? Yes or no? Is it changing with frequency? Is there any frequency term associated with this? Yes or no? Please answer. Is it a constant or is there any frequency associated with it? Did we consider the frequency?
No, sir.
Okay, right? So by default, if input resistance, output resistance, current gain, voltage gain is asked, by default it is this mid frequency region where gain is constant. Okay, observe, voltage gain is constant with respect to frequency, isn't it? So we have obtained a constant value. Even expressions, if you observe any of the expressions which we did in earlier classes other than the last class, what you will actually observe is the values, okay, or what the expression contains, what the gain expression contains, those are actually constants. Okay, right? You observe that. So what I am trying to say is, by see, if you are analyzing any amplifier 100 times, you are analyzing, it is the same. Okay, right? So get this strongly entered into your head, that is, if simply the question says find input resistance, output resistance, current gain, voltage gain, AVS, AAS, without mentioning any frequency, then you will analyze for mid frequency. Okay, right? And we have seen that in earlier classes. Okay, right? So this part we have considered for all the previous classes other than the last class. In last class, we have discussed that this is the shape of frequency response, and then we analyzed what happens at low frequency. Okay, again, see 100 amplifiers if you are considering 100 times, if it is asked, okay, without mentioning frequency, you will do here. Low frequency response is asked 100 times. Okay, it could be two-stage RC coupled amplifier, right? It could be CC, CB. Method is the same. You will draw this, okay, right? And for here, you will consider which effects. For this particular characteristics, what effects do you consider? Please answer. I told you, is it the circuit capacity?
Circuit capacitive effects.
Very good. Okay. This response is due to the circuit capacitive effects, right? Okay. Anyway, let us discuss this frequency response again. Some terms, okay, some terms here where the gain is maximum and constant. This is called as mid, VAV mid. Okay. See, actually, this plot is x-axis frequency, y-axis voltage gain, AV. Why this is called AV mid? Anybody answer? Why this is called as AV mid? Think and give answer. AV MID mid. Why it is called AV mid? Answer please. It is already there. Answer is there on the screen itself. Why this is called AV mid? This is mid frequency. Okay, right? Why this is called AV mid? Please answer. See, if I keep on telling, it will be boring, isn't it? If you answer, then I also know how much you have learned, then how much more I have to explain. I will understand. Fast, please. Quickly, very easy question. I won't ask hard questions. Even if it is wrong also, I won't tell anything. I will explain again. Okay.
Voltage gain at mid frequencies.
Very good. See here, what is happening? This is the gain. This is mid frequency region, isn't it? Okay. And this is the gain at mid frequency, right? We are taking that as AB mid. Most of the cases, this is the maximum gain, isn't it? See here also gain is low. Gain is low, increasing, maximum. Okay. Then again decreasing. So the maximum means along y-axis, isn't it? This is the maximum. So this is AV mid. Some textbooks will call it as AV max, MAX, AV max, one and the same. Okay, because it is a maximum, right? Now, see, it is like this. Do you know what is cutoff frequency? Anybody can tell what is cutoff frequency? Do you know what is cutoff frequency? Okay. Anybody know? Yes. Yes.
Higher minus lower.
That is bandwidth. Higher cutoff frequency minus lower cutoff frequency is actually bandwidth. Okay. Good. Like this, I want everybody to answer. Okay. Right. First, so to get bandwidth, we should know what is lower cutoff frequency, higher cutoff frequency. I will give you one small example. Okay. Right. For example, say there is an examination conducted, right? Pass percentage is say 50, right? Pass percentage is, pass marks is 50. Exam is for 100 marks, okay? And pass is, okay, 50, right? So suppose we have students scoring, some students have scored below 50, okay? Then above 50 in all ranges, right? Then what do I mean pass percentage is 50? Anybody scoring 50 or greater than that, right? Okay. Now let us understand this example. Let us use this example and let us understand what is cutoff. here 50 is the cutoff. Okay, here 50 marks is the cutoff. So even for gain, okay, even for gain, right? What is power? Anybody in terms of voltage and current? What is power?
P equal to V into I.
Very good. P is equals to V into I. Okay. Again, V. Okay. In terms of just current, can anybody tell what is power in terms of? See, again, P is equals to V into I. Your friend has said. V again, I can write it as I into R, isn't it? P is equals to V into I. V again, I can write it as I into R. So
I square into R's.
very good. P is equals to I square into R. In terms of voltage, can you tell? In terms
P
of voltage,
equal to V
V
square
equal to
by
V
R.
by R.
P is equals to V by R or V square by R, which is correct?
V square by R.
Very good. Okay. So again, same. P is equals to V into I. I can write it as V by R. So P is equals to V square by R. Very good. So can I say power is proportional to voltage square? Can I say? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I can say yes. I can say power is proportional to voltage square. Or can I say power is proportional to square root? Can I say voltage is proportional to square root of power? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Voltage is proportional to square root of power, means if I consider half power, okay, if I consider half power, then in terms of voltage, what it will be? If I say half power, then in terms of voltage, what it will be? Question is answer is already there. I am showing. Please answer.
1 by root.
Very good. Okay, right. So see, because P is proportional to V square, I can write V is proportional to square root of V. Okay, V is proportional to square root of P, means if I say half power, P by 2 if I consider, okay, then in terms of voltage I should consider 1 by root 2. Okay, 1 by root 2. So like how I have told you 50% is the pass marks. Okay, like that for power also it is 50%. Okay, if whatever the maximum power is there, to that at least if 50% power, okay, that is acceptable, isn't it? Okay, students are there, 50%, okay, they have passed, fine, degree you will receive, right? Okay, likewise for power, this is the maximum power. Okay, the whatever the maximum power we have, to that 50% is okay, right? At least 50%. Now that if you see in voltage domain, you should consider 50. 50 means 50% means by 2, isn't it? Okay, 50% means by 2, right? So that is in power, if it is by 2, we discussed that voltage is proportional to square root of power. Square root of by 2 becomes 1 by root 2. Okay, 1 by root 2, right? So this is the point where anything above or at that point is acceptable. Okay, in simple words, these are the range of frequencies. These are the range of frequencies where the voltage gain that we receive is acceptable, isn't it? Very small. See here voltage gain is very small, isn't it? Y-axis point, not acceptable. This is like 20 marks. 20 marks pass, isn't it? It's not pass. 20 marks is fail, not accepted. Okay, so minimum acceptable voltage gain is 1 by root 2 times the maximum gain. Okay, clear? And those frequencies which are associated with this particular gain, these are the cutoff frequencies. Okay, lower cutoff frequency, higher cutoff, isn't it? This is X-axis low, lowest value, near to lowest value. So lower cutoff frequency. We are going very far in X-axis. So this is higher cutoff frequency. This point is higher cutoff frequency. Okay, right? So how to find lower cutoff frequency is where the gain becomes what? Answer. How to find what? Now again, think. I want all my students to think. If you think, life will be interesting. Okay, subject will be easy. Always think. Don't keep on by hearting. Okay, no, useless. If you think only, you understand, right? So tell me how to find cutoff frequencies where gain becomes equal to what? Answer. The frequencies at which gain becomes equal to how much? Again, answer is here. The frequencies at which gain becomes equal to, please answer. How much? Question is already, answer is already there on the screen. I want you to answer. Fast, please. Quickly.
1 by root 2.
Yes. The frequency at which gain becomes equal to 1 by root 2 AV mid. Okay. The frequencies at which gain becomes equal to 1 by root 2 AV mid. So the overall conclusion is this is the frequency response. Okay. The maximum gain or mid frequency gain AV mid. To get the cutoff frequencies, right? Consider the equate the gain, okay, or consider those frequencies. Consider, see, with respect to frequencies, gain is changing. Find out those frequencies for which the gain AV becomes 1 by root 2 times the maximum value. Okay, so this is the standard process for finding cutoff frequencies. We will see this in the coming classes. Standard process for finding cutoff frequencies. Find out those frequencies where the voltage gain becomes 1 by root 2 AV mid. Okay. Again, if you are analyzing 100 circuits, for 100 circuits, the rule is the same. Where gain becomes, where your voltage gain, or it could be current gain. Okay. Isn't it? Because power is proportional to V square, or power is proportional to I square. Right? Or V is proportional to root P, or I can say current I is proportional to root P, isn't it? So whether you are finding voltage gain or whether you are finding current gain, if the question says find out cutoff frequencies, you will find the point where the gain becomes, okay, the gain becomes 1 by root 2 times the maximum gain. Okay, right? One more small thing I want to clarify. See, here we spoke in terms of the example that I told, we spoke in terms of percentage. Okay, that is for 100, the pass marks is 50. Okay, right? Now, suppose, okay, suppose if it is 1000, then what is the value you will consider for cutoff? 1000 by root 2. Okay, 1000 by root 2. So that is for power. Okay, for power it is 1000 by 2. Okay, for voltage or current it is 1000 by root 2, right? Okay, and please note that this is the voltage gain along y-axis, frequency along x-axis. Okay, fine. So last class we did some analysis. What did we do? We considered this circuit. Okay, let us quickly understand this circuit. What is the role of this R1, R2 and RE? What is the role of this? Anybody can answer? Primarily the role of R1, R2 is for biasing. Okay, R1, R2 is for biasing. Why biasing? Okay, now please listen. Any amplifier circuit, it could be two-stage RC. Okay, amplifier. It could be CECC amplifier, CBC. Okay, CECB amplifier. Okay, or simply CE amplifier, CB any amplifier. if you have R1, R2, the role is same. The role of R1, R2 is for biasing. Okay, what is biasing? You have to, for the transistor to act as an amplifier, it should be operated in active region. Okay, active region means emitter based junction forward biased, collector based junction reverse biased. Forward biased means there should be forward voltage. Reverse bias means there should be reverse voltage across the junctions. To achieve that, okay, these resistors, they play the role. R1, R2, RE additionally it adds to the stability. Okay, RE additionally adds to the stability of biasing. Okay, this could be your resistor or load. Okay, RC could be a resistor or load. Then means RC plays the role of biasing as well as load in certain conditions. Certain cases RC is considered as the load. Okay, then these are your CB blocking capacitors. See, biasing we are doing by the DC source. Okay, biasing we are obtaining with the help of this DC source VCC. Now this biasing is only for transistor. This DC source we don't want it to flow to the output or to the input. So we are blocking this DC source by using blocking capacitors. Capacitor don't allow DC to flow. DC it will say no, I will not allow. So DC will not flow in this direction. No DC in this direction. No DC crosses this capacitor. Okay. So these capacitors block DC. So they are called as CB blocking capacitor. Some textbook you will find CC, 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 coupling capacitor. They are coupling the source to the circuit or the output to the circuit. So coupling, they are also called as coupling capacitors. These two capacitors are called as coupling capacitors or blocking capacitors. Now again, any amplifier, if you have a capacitor here, the role is the same. Okay, right? I'll be more than surprised if my students fail to answer, right? Because 100 circuits, the matter you are writing is the same, isn't it? Most of the matter is same. It's not the entire matter. Most of the matter is same. Then based on the functionality, there is slight variation. Okay, then this is the what capacitor? Anybody answer? I think yesterday class I told, last class I told. This is what capacitor?
Impedance capacitor.
This is called as the bypass capacitor. Okay, because for AC signal, see, AC signal travels from here. Okay, passes through. Please note, this is blocking capacitor. It blocks DC. Means DC will not go into source. DC will not go to output. DC will remain here only. Between those CB, two CB capacitors, between that region only the DC will be flowing. DC will not go beyond. Okay. But AC will go inside. Capacitor allows AC. So AC will go like this. It will go inside. It travels, okay, through this resistor. This resistor goes like this, travels again here, travels here. This part let us analyze. So let us see this path only. When the AC signal comes like this, comes here, capacitor allows AC, means it provides low resistance path for AC. So the AC signal, when it comes here, it will follow this path. It won't take this. So it is, because it follows this path, it is ideal case you can consider at zero resistance. Means for AC signal point of view, this entire combination gives, RECZ gives ideally zero resistance. Okay, gives ideally zero resistance. Hence, it is because of this capacitor, this resistor is bypassed, isn't it? If this capacitor is not there, then current has to flow through RE, isn't it? But because this capacitor is there, current is not flowing through RE, it is flowing through this CZ. So this capacitor is bypass capacitor. You know, road bypass, isn't it? Okay. The current that is coming here, it is not traveling in this road, it is going in this road, because AC current, low resistance, current always chooses low resistance path. Okay, so it is the same, but when we say AC, we consider impedance, right? So the AC signal which comes here, AC signal passes through this low impedance path, right? Means the because of this capacitor, the RE is bypassed. Hence, this capacitor is called as bypass capacitor, right? So what I am trying to say, if your question asks any circuit, this explanation is same. R1, R2, okay? They are for biasing the transistor in active region, okay? RE also not only biasing, RE is also for biasing. Additionally, it provides thermal stability, okay? Additionally, it provides thermal stability. Then RC acts as both biasing and in certain circuits load. They will directly put load here, okay? Because for AC equivalent, V0 is this, VCC is ground, isn't it? So directly this appears across V0 for AC, okay? For AC equivalent, RC appears from this point to ground, isn't it? So it is also called as load, right? Then I have explained this blocking capacitors. Then I have explained CZ. This is source, this is source, VS is source. Internal resistance of this source is RS, okay, source resistance. Clear? So, understood? Any doubts? Any circuit, this basic explanation you have to write always, okay? Now, see again, all circuits I won't explain. If say we have two-stage RC coupled amplifier, we discussed. These are what the biasing resistors. This is biasing as well as stability. All this we don't explain, isn't it? Okay, because it is understood, right? So any circuit in exam, you write those general explanation, then go into the detail as per what is asked in the question. If it is a theory based or derivation based question. Okay, so this also we did in last class. What if these resistance are sufficiently large, R1, R2? For AC equivalent, what happens? R2 is anyway here. When you replace VCC by ground, R1 will also start from this point to ground. Then R1, R2 will appear to be in parallel. So if that parallel combination is sufficiently large resistance means I can open circuit. Okay. So when that is large, I need not draw resistance here. I have open circuit. Okay. Then now the only difference, again I'm explaining because this using capacitor, it is somewhat new for you. Okay, that's why again I'm explaining. So see, okay, if it is mid frequency response or nothing is mentioned, then what you will do, you will take all capacitor short circuit, you will find out gain and you will say that is the gain, like we did in the previous problems. Okay, two-stage RC coupled amplifier, CCCB, whatever we have done earlier, like that. But if question asks low frequency response, then what to do? Which effect we will consider? The same thing I told so many times yesterday, today. Please tell which effects we should consider for low frequency response. Answer please. See, we are like friends. You should not be that you are afraid to answer. Okay. So even if you tell wrong answer also, I will correct. Okay. Right. I will help you. So please answer. What effect? Additionally, see, similar analysis like we did in earlier classes, we will do. Additionally, which effect we will consider? Please answer. Effect of what we will consider? For low frequency, which effect we will consider? Please answer. Already your friend answered. Which effect we will consider? Fast, please. We are running out of time. Time is precious. You have to complete syllabus, isn't it? Okay. So which effect we will consider? Similar analysis like we did earlier, we will do. Additionally, what effects we will, which component we will consider now? The capacitors we will consider. Okay, right? But please note, we will not consider all the capacitors at a time. We will consider one by one. Standard procedure, we will consider the effect of capacitor one by one. So first heading, okay, effect of bypass capacitor. First heading is effect of emitter bypass capacitor CZ. We are considering this. When we consider this effect, this one as usual we will consider short circuit like we are doing in earlier classes. Okay. So now how to draw AC equivalent and all, same process like we are doing in yesterday's earlier classes. Only difference is in place of this R, in place of, okay, taking short circuit. Earlier we taken this short circuit. Now we don't take short circuit. From emitter we will take RECZ. Okay, from emitter we will take RECZ, right? Why am I explaining so many times? If question asks CE amplifier, CC amplifier, CECB, okay, CECC, any amplifier, okay, it could be two-stage RC coupled amplifier. Process is the same. You will consider one capacitor at a time and you will put heading effect of bypass capacitor, and the same process which you have been doing, AC equivalent. Then from AC equivalent replace transistor by H parameter model. Okay, here directly we have taken both AC equivalent and replace transistor by H parameter model. We have done both simultaneously. Okay, then the analysis similar. The only difference is this impedance term will come into picture. One, you can take the impedance of 1 by j omega c. Okay, how you treat resistor, you will do same like that, only derivation, but in place of this resistance you will take 1 by j omega c, right? So you will take R in parallel with 1 by j omega c and you will proceed. We did this already in previous class. Okay, I want to stress this again and again and again and again, because for any circuit this is the standard process. If somebody question says find out frequency response of CECB amplifier, you should not say I don't know, isn't it? Okay, because at engineering level they will try to ask a new question. They want to test your skill. They don't want to test how much you can by heart. Okay, right? They don't want you to know a plus b whole square, a plus b whole square. That they don't want. They want to know how much you understand, right? So they have every right to give absolutely new circuit which you have never seen. Okay, then if they ask frequency response, what you will do? Frequency response means you have to do low frequency, mid frequency, high frequency. So you can start with low frequency. One by one effect of capacitor you have to consider. Okay, like here we considered for CZ. Now what we are doing, AC equivalent, neglecting R1, R2 for simplicity. Okay, the condition we wrote here. If R1 parallel R2 is much greater than RS, you can neglect. Okay, so neglecting that, then go for AC equivalent, replace transistor by H parameter. This is the H parameter model, right? Okay, then analyze, find out the voltage gain, AVS, overall voltage gain, V0 by Vs. So this we did in last class. V0 expression we found out. Okay, minus HFE I minus HFE IB RC. Vs is IB into RS plus HIE plus this current was IB into 1 plus HFE into parallel combination of this. Okay, this also we found out in last class. Now for simplicity, okay, for simplicity what we are doing is, see, any equation dimensions have to match, then only the equation is valid. If LHS is voltage, RHS has to be voltage, then only the equation is a valid equation. Okay, it is the same for anything. If whatever LHS, if LHS is suppose frequency, then RHS has to be frequency. If LHS has no dimensions, RHS should have no dimensions, then only it is valid, right? So for this equation to be valid, already we have voltage x-axis, then voltage along LHS. Okay, we already have voltage along LHS. So this also has to be voltage. For this to be voltage, already we have current, means inside braces it should be resistance or impedance. If you have J term, it is impedance. If you don't have this J term, then it is resistance. Okay, so we have J term, means this term has to be impedance. This term has to be impedance. So because this term is associated with emitter RE, I will call it as ZE dash. Okay, impedance at the emitter terminal. Okay, impedance present at the emitter terminal. Okay, clear? Right? Just for simplicity, I don't want to write the very big expression there. For simplicity, so Vs is equals to IB into Rs plus HIE. This I can write it as ZE dash. Okay, this we can write it as ZE dash. Okay, so Vs in terms of IB, V0 in terms of IB. So if we do V0 by Vs, what we will get? IB will cancel. Okay, IB will cancel. So minus HFE RC as it is, and then in the denominator we have RS plus HIE plus this term. This term we call it as ZE dash. Okay, V0. So V0 by Vs, what will be that? Minus HF V0 by Vs. If this Vs we bring it to LHS, then it becomes minus HFE RC by remaining RS plus HIE plus ZE dash. Now let us quickly analyze this. So what happens if CZ is large? If CZ is large, again, see, it is not sufficient. You analyze and stop it there. You should tell, okay, should my capacitor be low or high, isn't it? So if CZ is large, this overall ZD will be what? Small or large? Please answer. If CZ is large, ZD dash will be? Please answer fast. Denominator term is increasing, means overall term will, which is increase. Yes, okay. So if CZ is large, ZD dash will decrease. If ZD dash, again here ZD dash is the denominator. If ZD dash decreases, V0 will what?
Increases.
Very good. Yes. So now the logic is like this. To get high voltage at the output, CZ should be what? To get high voltage at the output, CZ should be small or large? What is the answer?
Small.
No. See, if CZ is large, ZD dash is small. If ZD dash is small, V0 is large, isn't it?